What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another Friday live stream. Dun, it's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, dun, dun, it's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, dun, 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 dun. Just sold your star to Mikel Arteta, just sold your star to Mikel Arteta. Come on, it's Friday, people, it's a vibe. Arsenal are back, Community Shield settings on Sunday, people, at Wembley. Watch-alongs are back, Arsenal against City, Manchester City. I just did a preview actually on Big Steve's channel, so look out for that on his channel. And looking forward to the game this weekend. Hopefully, I'm not doing Arsenal therapy by Monday, people. The Fantasy League, we will start next week. I'll drop the code for everyone on Monday. So we'll do that. What do you think of the new third top? I mean, where is it? That's what I want to know. I thought it was coming out already. It still ain't been released yet. So I saw people wearing it at the Emirates Cup. I don't know where they're getting it from, but the thing I've always said, I don't like the button at the top. The kit itself looks all right because it's based on an old shirt. But yeah, the kit itself, where is it? Big up Ish, big up Big C, catching live after a while. Big up yourself, big up E-Ross, who said, big up Curtis in the C-Unit community. Hope everyone's well. Big up Ice Wolf, hello from Romania. Big up LSU said, can we have a GoFundMe to replace that Todd Bowley? My apologies, man. You're not happy, are you, LSU? That guy, smash the likes if you haven't already. Smash the likes. Jake, Alexis Sanchez, baby. Alexis Sanchez. Oh, I know, people. It's controversial. Some Arsenal fans think it's very controversial that I put Alexis on the green screen. I know he went to United, but what a player he was. I'm sorry, he was outrageous. Big up Kamani, hope you're well. Big up everyone locked in. Marcel, bless up. Curtis, happy Friday. The weekend is here. Everyone, we made it for another week. Give thanks, ain't that the truth, people? And big up Black. We got a little bit to talk about today. Mikel Arteta did his press conference about an hour ago. So hopefully we'll have a little light waffle this afternoon. Nothing major, but we'll see what he said ahead of the game against Manchester. Sanchez was different. Sanchez was real different, man. And that's what I'm saying about this window. This window has been a good window, but you know, when's the last time we signed that game changer? You know, Alexis was a game changer. Aubameyang was. Ozil was. Can Declan Rice be that in midfield? I just think we need one more in the attack. But we'll see. Give thanks and gratitude always, said ELB. Always, bro. Alexis walks into this current team. He does. He does. He's that good. Big up Big C. Imagine Sanchez in this team. The thing is with Sanchez, his mentality, would it work in this team? I'm not sure if Arteta would actually work that well with Alexis. I don't know. He's got that very big ego and a lot of belief. We haven't really seen Arteta work with a player like that. Big up James, who said, the man, the myth, the legend, Curtis Shaw TV. Big up yourself. Big up. There's the community that makes it. And Marcus said, big up Curtis. Big up Leon, his son, watching here in Finland. Big up to Leon and Marcus tuned in Finland. And big up Oz, who's locked in. Big up everyone tuned in. Really appreciate it. Let's get into today's show. Lots to talk about. Apparently, there's been a delay to the green kit. And apparently, it won't be out before the start of the season, which is very strange to release the kit so late. I thought they would have got that out nice and early. But it is what it is. We'll see. Should we sign Griezmann? Short-term fix? I think he just signed... Did he sign a permanent at Atletico? I'm not sure we could get him. Nick said Pep accepting that Rice rejected City. Well, let's hope that he performs at a level that makes him frustrated that he didn't get him. You know, let's hope that's how he performs. Anyway, let's talk transfers. Let's get into it, people. While I'm bored said, should we sign Lukaku? It was interesting that Darren Bent said that Arsenal should sign Lukaku on loan for a year. I don't think. I think he's going to end up at Juventus. Only way is up said big up to the community from Santorini, living it large. And Tarun said Alexis did not have an ego, he was just slightly eccentric. But again, I heard through the grapevine that he didn't get on with certain players and things like that. But listen, I'd love to have him in this current team. Before we get into the show, don't forget today's video is sponsored by OneFootball. Link in the description below, QR code in the top corner, and let's play the clip, people. Don't forget, link in the description below for all your latest transfer news. Download OneFootball. Let's get into it, people. And yeah, we won't be doing any Jordan Jarrett comparisons who somebody just put in the comments. I think it's a TalkSport thing. I think TalkSport sends you crazy. Jordan said as if the Kaka comment wasn't bad enough. Crazy. TalkSport madness, people. Anyway, let's get into it. David Raya. I was told by a Spanish Arsenal fan who's in the community that it's David Raya. David Raya, not David Raya. I think I was calling him David Raya. He said it's David Raya. So I'm going to try and pronounce it right. I like to pronounce people's right. If it's wrong, let me know. I was calling him David Raya. Apparently it's David Raya. But it is what it is. Raya, whoever he is, let's make sure he's good. Where's Beverly? Yeah, like I said, we finally found out the third girl in Destiny's Child's name. If you was tuned in yesterday, then you're right there with us. Let's drink some Raya and Nephew. I like that from Trini Guna. That's a dad joke. I'd be proud of that myself, to be honest. Robbie was slaughtering it as usual. You know Robbie, when it comes to pronunciations, he's gonna rip a name apart however he can. Arsenal made an offer last night, people. £23 million for David Raya from Brentford. 20 million up front with 3 million in add-ons. David Ornstein reported today Brentford are expected to turn down the opening Arsenal offer for David Raya, but the proposal is only slightly below what Brentford are seeking, and talks continue. Both parties want a deal for the 27-year-old goalkeeper to happen and are now working on the finer details. According to reports, they are willing to let him go for £28 million. How that looks, whether that's maybe 23 million and 3 million and 23 and 5 million in add-ons, or 25 and 3 million in add-ons. Reading reports that Brentford have basically said, because of his loyalty to the club, he obviously came through the championship with Brentford. They're willing to let him go at a reduced price. Tottenham were interested in him about a month ago. Bayern Munich were in for him. Manchester United were even looking at him. And they were saying, look, 40 million is the minimum they'll sell him for. I think what has occurred is a couple of things. Number one, there aren't as many clubs in for him now. United have signed a keeper. Tottenham have signed a keeper. He's turned down Bayern. It looks like Arsenal are the only club there now trying to get him. Also, we're in August. The window closes in 3.5 weeks. Brentford cannot afford a player of that quality to walk out on a free next season. They're not a massive club. They can't afford to let their goalkeeper walk if they can get £28 million for him. Also, the goalkeeper is very keen on joining Arsenal. So I am applauding Arsenal in the way they've done their business in this one. They've made a low offer and they're going to get him. They're going to get him for about £28 million. Listen, at the start, I'll be honest, I was thinking, do we really need two goalkeepers of that level? But do you know what? I'm with this deal now. I'm with this deal. I'm about this deal. My thing was, if you're going to buy a goalkeeper, buy one that's significantly better than Aaron Ramsdale. But the reality of the situation is, Turner is in a situation where Forest are going to try and sign him. They're going to make an offer for him. And he's looked at the market and he's probably thought, if I can get 10 million for Turner and I buy David Raya for 28, I've effectively paid 18 million pounds for last season one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. Now, I think Brentford players go under the radar, probably apart from Ivan Toney, because he's the goal scorer, he's the main man, he's the striker. This guy, if you look at his stats, He's number one in so many categories. He played the most completed passes of any goalkeeper in the Premier League last season. He was the second highest when it comes to catching crosses in the Premier League. He made the most saves in the Premier League. He made the most saves from shots outside of the area. He is a serious goalkeeper. He plays for Brentford. He doesn't start for Spain. He is under the radar. Next member stream will be next week, Nico, 100%, before the start of the new season. So looking maybe Thursday. I think that we need a striker more than we need a goalkeeper. But the reality is, if you can get a goalkeeper of that level for 28 million, you sell your second choice for 10 million, 18 million for David Raya is a bargain. It's an absolute bargain. And he is going to do one of two things. He either comes in and he's better than Ramsdale and he gets in the team, or he pushes Ramsdale to another level because of that pressure. Sometimes a top player needs pressure. That's how you get players to go to the next level. So two things happen. Either one of them is a positive situation for Arsenal. He either comes in and he's even better than Ramsdale and we're like, wow, we've gone up another level, or Ramsdale feels the pressure and he goes to that next level. So one of two things happen. What I will say is, by the end of the season, how do you manage that situation? Do you say to one of them, you play all the Premier League games, the other one plays all the cup competitions? But then if I'm Ramsdale, let's say you say to Ramsdale, you get all the Premier League games, he's going to be frustrated thinking, well, I've just helped you get in the Champions League, now I'm not playing. I'm not sure you can sustain two goalkeepers of that level for a long period of time. But as I said yesterday, Kieran Tierney was seen as one of the best left-backs in the Prem, and Zinchenko came in and offered us something different. I totally agree. Zelda there said Trossard raised Martinelli's level, and I agree with you with that one. We've now got this thing. StreamYard have added it. With members, if you've been members for certain amounts of time, your comment is highlighted. Before, they never highlighted it on StreamYard, so now I can click on them, which is great. Aluminium's been a member for 6 months. Surely they should focus all their efforts on getting a striker in. I'm much more comfortable with Ramsdale in goal than I am with Nketiah up top. I totally agree with what you're saying there. And I said it yesterday. I think we need a striker. Right? I do. But the reality of the situation is, from Arteta's point of view, I think how he's thinking, Jesus is only out for a couple of weeks. That's his main man. He likes Eddie. I've given my opinion on Eddie. I don't think he's good enough, but we are where we are. He's on a 5-year deal, number 14, blah, blah, blah. He's going to back him. Trossard can play up front. Martinelli can play up front. Havertz can play up front. None of them guys are specialists. That's the problem. But from his point of view, he wants people that can play in different positions and move around. I would like a specialist. The problem is, at the moment, the striker market is so weak. People talking about Mawani, yeah, but they want 100 million euros for him, and he's not that proven. Ivan Toney's banned. Arsenal are not going to go for him. Harry Kane wouldn't come to us. Tottenham wouldn't sell him. Osimhen's going to cost you 130, 140 million. We're not going to spend that now. We've already spent over 200. We're short of options. The best option is probably to keep Balogun, but I think Balogun and Arteta are already at a point where they're probably looking to move him on. So we'll see. I agree with South London's finest. If we're spending 30 million, nearly 30 million on a goalkeeper, there has to be more. Assassin saying Ollie Watkins, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of him, but I would take Watkins ahead of Eddie. Alfred, big up for the super chat. Sanchez wouldn't work in this team. As good as he was, he's a one-man show. Reason he didn't fit in at Barca. It's a good point. I remember they used to say Messi used to complain about Sanchez being too greedy. Simon said keepers who are good with their feet are rare as hen's teeth. We could sell either keeper next year for 50 million to a big club or desperate. And this is what I'm saying. That is a fantastic point, Simon, is even from a business point of view, if you was to turn around and say, right, we get Raya in for 28 million, right? We get 10 million for Turner, so effectively he's 18 million quid. You keep these two goalkeepers for a year, you let them go head-to-head, you see who the better one is. In a year's time, you sell either one of them for 40, 50 million. You know, and you know, you would like to keep them both for a long time. I think it will be very difficult. I think signing David Raya is good business. It's too good to turn down. I think the deal has fallen into their lap. I don't think they genuinely were going to buy a keeper. I think Turner's had an offer from Forest. That's made them look at the market and they've gone, if we can get him for under 30 million, it's great business. So first offer has been rejected, but as Ornstein's saying, we're very close to reaching a figure that they're going to accept. And they only apparently want 28 million. We've offered 23. 5 million shouldn't be a problem for Arsenal. Carlito says, what about Osimhen for Balogun plus 80 million? Do Napoli value Balogun at 40, 50 million? Do they want Balogun? I know Inter want him. Listen, if you put that deal on the table, it's an absolute no-brainer. But I think Osimhen is also on the verge of signing a new deal, which makes it difficult. Assassin said, Curtis, with the Euros coming up, Ramsdale won't accept being number 2. We would definitely force a move. What I think happens is Ramsdale continues as number 1. I don't think he gets dropped straight away. I think David Raya comes in, puts pressure on him. The problem you're going to have, as soon as Ramsdale makes a mistake, people are going to be saying, right, that's it, drop him. Put Raya in goal. We'll see. We'll see. At the end of the day, all any fan wants is the best for their club. If David Raya comes in and he's better than Ramsdale, then so be it. It's harsh, but that's the reality. If Aaron Ramsdale goes to the next level because he's under very big pressure, then that's a good thing as well. So I don't mind. I don't mind. What my issue was is, number 1, do we have more money because there are other positions that we need? Exactly what happened to Leno. Well, Leno was forced to go. And I thought Leno was a good goalkeeper, but Ramsdale went up a level because he's better with the ball at his feet. Brazy TV, Big C, I'm with everyone that we need a new striker, but I think the club is comfortable moving forward with Trossard or Eddie at striker behind Jesus until we get to January. I think January is where we grab a stopgap until we go for Ferguson from Brighton. I mean, I'll tell you my issue. We clearly have options that could get us through short periods of time. If Jesus is out, I'm comfortable going with Trossard or whoever up front for a short period of time. What concerns me is that we now have a striker that had a bad knee injury last year and has got an injury on the same knee. So what my concern is what happens if, and I hope it doesn't happen, of course, but what happens if Jesus is out for 2 or 3 months again this season? Are you confident that Trossard can play up front for 3 months? Are you confident that Eddie can play up front for 3 months? In the Champions League as well. Imagine we had Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. I'm not confident going to the Bernabeu with Eddie up front or Trossard up front, who's not an actual striker. He can play there. So I think that's my concern more, is how much is Gabriel Jesus going to play this season? Big up Latte in the chat, C Unit. Big up the community. Aluminium said Leno was a good shot stopper and that's about it. It wasn't good enough at coming for crosses and his distribution was not good enough. Tsunami saying João Felix. I like João Felix. I got to be honest, on loan wouldn't be the end of the world, but I think he's in talks with Barca. Bosch J said Ivan Toney in January is a must. I agree, but will they go for him? You know, the PR and all of that. Jay said, what happened to Elise? That is a good backup. He's being heavily linked with Man City. Costa said, did you see Raya's comments on competition between goalkeepers? Sounds like a great character. It does. It does. I heard that part of his interview. It does sound good. Clock Orange said, Curtly, that is post-op fluid in his knee, which might also be a recurring one. Hoping it's not. Let's hope so. Sebastian said, I'd prefer you up top, Big C. Listen, I'll back myself. Give me 6 weeks to get fit. No, listen, I'll leave it to them. Me personally, Man City on Sunday, I want to see Trossard up front. Not everyone will agree with that. And I know he's not an out-and-out striker, but I think the way we play, I think what I like about Trossard is he's got that quality link-up. And for me, I tell you this, Arsenal's biggest goal-scoring strength in our attack is actually the two wingers, in my opinion, is Martinelli and Saka. And I think Trossard is a better link-up player as a striker than Eddie. I think when Eddie's up front, you don't get as good as Saka or Martinelli because he's very, you know, head down, try and score, which I don't mind. You're a striker, you want to prove yourself, I get it. But I think Trossard can link with the two wingers. I think we can play like that. And I think Trossard was so good in pre-season. that he deserves to start on Sunday. And that's not me being disrespectful to Eddie. I would go Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka against City. Pep confirmed Rice chose Arsenal. What Curtis said, hey, listen, Ikram, listen. I was in my feelings like a Drake album. I can't lie, people. But we got him. But we did overpay, but we got him, you know. So I give you that one. That's a little jab. It's a little jab. I'll let you have that one for free. Eddie's link-up play has gotten miles better, but still not as good as we need. We haven't got a striker, simple, said Shibe. And Mbappe on loan, if only, man. We need Balogun up top on Sunday. He's got no chance. He'll be lucky if he's on the bench. Jake said Trossard can get a shot off if they back up. That's another thing. Can shoot from distance with both feet as well. So that front three, listen, that's the front three that I would start on Sunday because they can interchange. If Trossard ain't working, put Martinelli up front. Put Trossard on the left. They can all move. Jashar said, big up Curtis, so Raya is great in the air. Maybe he'll invert as a striker. Maybe, you know, maybe he can play. Maybe they'll have an inverted goalkeeper. Why do you have Sanchez at the back? Because listen, man, I respect what he did. He was outstanding. I know a lot of people are a bit tetchy about it, but we move on. We move on, people. Anyway, let's move on as well. Reports today, people, from Di Marzio, who I'm gonna expand on him and some of his opinions this summer. I mean, Ikram said that I said Rice would choose Man City. This is actually the reporter that basically said that Rice was signing for Man City. It was that far done, he said. He was going to become a Man City player. And obviously, he became an Arsenal player. So, you know, I'd rather jab him rather than jabbing me. I can't lie. But he says today, new contact between Juventus and Thomas Partey. Their number one target was Frank Kessie from Barcelona. Frank Kessie has signed for a club in Saudi, as a lot of people are at the moment. You know, this money is unbelievable that they're getting over there at the moment. I don't know if anybody's seen the Willian situation. Willian signed a new contract 3 weeks ago at Fulham for 90 grand a week, which is a good deal for a 33-year-old. He's just been offered £400,000 a week in Saudi. Man's gone mad. Transfer request. Don't want to go training. I want out. The money talks. Now, Di Marzio, number one, he's on fraud watch for me. Number two, I have absolutely no interest in this deal. At the start of the summer, when it looked like he was going to go, and I was like, listen, if he's going to go, you've got to get big money for him. He's still a top quality midfielder. Now I'm sort of at a point where I don't want to sell him. I just don't want to sell him. Juventus want to pay peanuts. Apparently, Juventus want to pay 20 to 25 million pounds. Put the phone down. Do what Vlahovic's agent was doing. Ignore the calls, block the number, divert it, whatever. No chance. One thing that we've learned, I think a lot of us knew this anyway, but one thing that I've learned is Thomas Partey has to be in the Arsenal team next season. I know at the end of the season he faded and we weren't happy with his performances, but a lot of Arsenal players faded at the end of the season. Thomas Partey, in my opinion, he's the best midfielder at Arsenal. Now, Declan Rice may become that. I'm not including Odegaard in that because I class him as an attacking midfielder. I'm talking about central. This guy has played Champions League final, I believe. He played Europa League final. He's won the Spanish League. This guy has been at that elite level. You need him in the team to enable Declan Rice to flourish because you're taking responsibility off. You're saying, listen, don't worry, bro. I'll do the dirty work. I'll win the ball back. You go and have the ball and enjoy yourself. This ain't West Ham where you're playing next to Souček and you're doing loads of dirty work. You know, you have to keep Thomas Partey at Arsenal. You have to. He's absolutely vital. He's quality as well. I think you saw it even in the Monaco game the other day. He's so good on the ball. Plays so many passes going forward as well. And listen, against Manchester City on Sunday, I would be playing Declan Rice and Thomas Partey in that double pivot. And And it's as simple as that. Now, I'm going to come back to this because a lot of you are tweeting and not tweeting. A lot of you are telling me in the comments. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted less than a minute ago. He said, Arsenal are optimistic and confident to reach an agreement with Brentford for David Raya after a bid was submitted on Thursday. Raya wants to join. He's insisting to make the deal happen. It's hardly breaking news. I'd say it's a bit of a tap-in from Fabrizio, but we'll give it him. It's recycled news. Ornstein basically said the same thing. The deal's going to happen. I don't often say this with Arsenal when they're bidding for players, but this deal, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're only 5 million apart. Arsenal will get to 28 million. They'll structure it, I don't know, 23 plus 5, 24 plus 4, whatever. Brentford have been very... I would say very, is kind the word? I don't know. They've been very reasonable in the sense that they've got to a point now where they've said, we'll step aside, we'll allow the deal to happen for less than they originally wanted because of what he's done for them. He was their goalkeeper when they got promoted out of the Championship. So I think it's fair. I think it works for everyone. They're getting 28 million for a keeper with a year left. We get a quality goalkeeper. And he gets a very good move to Arsenal in the Champions League. So I think everybody wins in that situation. In terms of Thomas Partey, tell Juventus to do one. Juventus have just been kicked out of the Conference League, right? They were in the Conference League. They had 10 points taken off them for doing things they shouldn't have been doing with the finances, and apparently their paperwork wasn't in order. They've now been kicked out of the Conference League. I don't see any reason why Partey would want to go there. And they're not even in Europe. I think South London's Finest just said it then, and I would agree. I hope I'm not misquoting him here. He said, I do think this will be Partey's last season, and I do. Thomas Partey has 2 years left on his deal. He's just turned 30. I think next summer you probably move him on, because at 31 next summer, are you likely to give him a new contract? Probably not. He's on 200 grand a week. At the most, you would possibly offer him a 1-year extension to get him to 2 years. I think possibly Arsenal would look to cash in on him next season. But look, the Saudi clubs want him. Italian clubs want him. There's going to be clubs that will take him. And I think that's reasonable. But listen, that gives you an opportunity to plan. For next summer, you know. Reece Nelson is back in full training. Zlatko said Felix on season-long. I'd take João Felix on loan. Assassin said Arsenal are asking for 50 million for Balogun, a striker who scored 21 goals in a top 5 league. Now a striker who's a couple years younger, scored 9 goals in a top 5 league, has gone for 73 million. I mean, you're obviously talking about Rasmus Højlund there. Interesting that Newcastle yesterday signed Livramento, the right back from Southampton. Southampton just relegated, by the way. And they sold him for £40 million. A right back from a relegated side. And they got £40 million. Now, we're talking about selling Balogun, who, 21 years of age, American international, 21 goals in the French league. And we're struggling to get £40 million for him. You know, we're getting 40 million euros offered. And I do rate Livramento, his quality, but I'm just saying the circumstances. It's crazy. It's crazy. Man City sold James Trafford. I think he's their 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper. They sold him for £19 million to Burnley, of all teams. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So we'll have to see. We will have to see. Balogun should be at least 50 million. You know, but we're struggling to get that money for him. Let me read these super chats, people. Definitely want to keep Thomas Partey. I think that's the general feeling of everyone. Carl said if Balogun shines elsewhere and Havertz and Ketty both flop here, then Arteta needs to go. I'm a bit concerned with him keeping mediocre players around. I think Arteta has got a little bit more ruthless, but there's something about this striker position that concerns me why he won't address it. Having players that can play in a position and having specialists is two totally different things. You need specialists. You look at... It's good to have players that are flexible and can play in multiple positions, but Striker's a specialist position, man. Not anyone can go there and make it happen. Havertz has not been good up front at Chelsea. Eddie has been okay, but not the level that we need up front. Trossard is, he's decent up there, but he's not an out-and-out striker. You've only got Jesus and potentially Balogun, but Balogun's going to get moved on. So that striker position worries me. Fitz, big up yourself, bro. He said, for me, we still need a centre mid, right winger and a striker. However, Arteta's cowardice has raised its head again. To keep Eddie and Nketiah amongst others shows Arteta is not serious. This make-do stance stinks. It's crazy how Arteta at times, in certain areas, is ruthless. Aubameyang gone, Guendouzi gone, Pepe, you're not coming back. Ozil gone. Giving Ramsdale that level of competition. Bringing in Timber for potentially replacing Ben White after a good season. Ruthless. But then Rob Holding's still here. Eddie Nketiah's still here, still getting regular game time. El Neni gets another contract. There's certain areas and positions where it's like he won't do that, It's strange, really. But Alfred said the problem with Trossard up top, he's better with the ball at his feet, running at people and creating Martinelli. Martinelli has the pace through the middle. We aren't about to outpass City. We need to be more direct. So for you, Alfred, do you think we'd be better off playing Trossard left, Martinelli through the middle? I've always said for a long time, I believe Martinelli long-term could potentially play up front, but we haven't really tried it over any long period of time yet, have we? So we're not sure with that. I think you're right, by the way. Trossard is better with the ball at his feet. Aditya said, a bit off topic, but you heard a lot of MDD with Michael Jackson. Man, listen, it's a tough one, that. It's a tough one. Who knows? Who knows with MJ, man? What was true and what wasn't? I think what we can all agree on, he's one of the biggest, if not the biggest star we've ever seen on the planet. I actually saw his star in Hollywood, and there were so many people taking pictures of it. They bought their replacement. They know if they don't sell now, he goes on a free. In terms of, you're on about David Raya. Yeah, Brentford already signed a goalkeeper, so, they know that he's going, and that's why I think they're willing to step aside. Simon, again, appreciate it, bro. Context on Balogun, he scored 6 penalties, was 10 on his XG. Højlund only had 20 starts. He's fast, great hold-up play. He's perfect fit with Onana. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to discredit strikers by, saying penalties are not freebies. But, people miss penalties, a penalty is still a lot of pressure. But I hear what you're saying. I've spoken to a few people who said that Balogun he played on the shoulder, scored a lot of goals. His general hold-up, link-up play is not necessarily elite level, but I just think he's earned the opportunity to see how good he is. He's an Arsenal fan. He wants to play for Arsenal, but it is what it is. Jeezy Fresh, big up, bro, said, bless, big C, as always. My take is there shouldn't be no moving on from Partey unless we sign someone like him or better, not average. I agree. If Caicedo came through the door and you wanted to let Partey go, I'd probably say, well, reluctantly, I'll let him go because you've brought in another top-quality centre-mid, but we've only signed Declan Rice, so there's no way Partey can be going. Marco said, feels like Raya will come in and that will be it. Will be a shock if we end up with a new striker as well. And Nketiah in the room this Sunday. Oh, man. It's not going to be scaring Pep and Man City, is it, Fitz blowing the cork off. Fitz don't mess about. The door comes off. Arsenal will be wearing the home kit for the Community Shield. Yeah, I think with Man City, we can always wear the home kit. There's no kit clash. Would you still want Onana? Well, not now. We wouldn't get him from United, but I would have taken him. I like him. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. Yeah, for me, I think that Arsenal will sign Raya, and I think they will try and get a right winger. I don't think they're going to buy a striker. I think if Jesus was out for a significant period of time, that conversation may happen. The fact they're saying it could be 2-3 weeks, I just don't think... All summer we haven't been linked with a striker. There's been no links. There's been no talks. I just don't think we're interested in one, which worries me. He will justify it by saying Havertz can play there, Eddie can play there, Trossard can play there, Martinelli can play there. Onana from Everton, sorry. Would I take Onana from Everton? I would. I would, because Jorginho goes next summer. El Neni goes next summer. I think Partey goes next summer as well. So, yeah, I would take Onana. Apparently he misses 5 games. Anyway, people, I hope it's not 5 games. It's that time, people. Waffle Settings is back. It's not the same without Curtis Shaw being in there, asking him, can we sign Kylian Mbappe? It's just not the same. But we're here. Waffle Settings. It should be quick waffle. Nothing major. Just a light lunch. In fact, it's quite late. We'll say an early dinner. Nothing major. Mikel Arteta, the players back in training. And looking ahead to the game against Manchester City. So let's skip through this. You know the drill. If he starts waffling, we are skipping, people. We got better things to do with our day. It's that time again, people. Cone Man music. Forget Ricky Ross, people. This is Mickey Ross, the boss. Cone Man music is back. And yeah, listen, Kamani, we tried. Next time we'll go again, people. We go again next summer. Let's see what he had to say. Aaron Ramsdale's players is it Tribune article? I'm going to be honest again. I have not read the whole article. So again, I can't say too much. I did read some of the things that he said. Very obviously personal to him and stuff. I thought the article was great, very open and transparent. I think he expressed what he feels about the topics he discussed. I think he was very brave. Again, I haven't watched or read, the whole article, so I can't comment too much on what he had to say, but I saw some of the quotes out of it. Yeah, Vlad, I mean, listen, Mikel Arteta doing a GQ shoot this morning. I mean, he's doing up model settings, you know, Mikel Lasso business. Win me a title, bro. I respect it. You got to earn your bread. They probably give you a nice little paycheck to do the GQ and all that. But listen, bro, I need you to lift the title. I don't really care about GQ magazines doing modeling photo shoots and all that, you know. Win us the title, then we'll have conversations. On Aaron's comments about the boss's support during a tough period, at the end of the day, we cannot forget we are dealing with people, human beings. We're responsible to manage decisions, things that can affect their lives. We have a big responsibility wherever we can. We have to support and be close with them, how much it means. Not only me, the club, the teammates, everybody that supported it. Big up to him for that. On Sunday's Community Shield, very excited to play a final. I have the opportunity to win a trophy against a team that is the team to beat. They were the best team in Europe. We know what the standards are and how we need to win the game, but we're excited. Very interesting that we're in the Community Shield without winning a trophy. Usually one team has the FA Cup, one team has the Premier League. They're actually going to have both trophies on their side of the dugout, which is frustrating. I'd laugh if Mikel cracked a waffle joke. Oh, man, if only. That would be a classic. It's like when we were calling Kiwi or the Kiwi, saying the Kiwi isn't ripe, and then Tony Adams called him a Kiwi on Sky Sports. Legendary. On the size of our squad, he said, we are in the process of working on a few things and a few decisions. There's still time to do that. We are very happy with the squad, that's for sure. As well, we have to make sure we can share minutes around the team in order to have healthy competition within the squad. Sounds more like there he's trying to trim the numbers down. Obviously, Trusty's gone. Still got to sell Turner, Havertz, Lokonga, Cedric, a number of players. Pepe hasn't gone yet. Number of players that need to be moved on. Community Shield is not a trophy. I mean, listen, it's funny because when you go to Spain, they really hype that trophy up, the Spanish Super Cup. But in England, it's not particularly respected, is it? Joseph said, big up Big C with Raya coming in. Who else do you think? I think we get maybe a right winger, maybe Mohamed Kudus. I think that would be that. I don't think we'll get a striker. On whether there's an optimum number of players we want in the squad, optimum people and optimum players as well, doesn't really answer it. On Gabriel Jesus' knee procedure, he said he's fine. Obviously, he's very disappointed. He was feeling really good. This issue came up, which nobody expected, so we had to do a little procedure. Unfortunately, it was the best thing to do, and as quickly as possible, the better. We made the decision. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. I mean, listen, you can play it down all you want. He's had an operation on his knee, which is bad. He was out for 3 months last season. He's had to have an op, you know, on the same knee injury. Love how you included Havertz in the list. Did I say Havertz? Oh my days. Listen, I'm sorry, people. I still haven't got over the fact of at Chelsea I couldn't stand him. Havertz, my apologies. Forgive me. I'm going to give you a chance to prove yourself. I meant to say Lokonga, Tavares, and Pepe and Cedric. Havertz, we're not selling you. Not yet anyway, mate. We'll wait till January. Anyway, sorry, Havertz. I've done him dirty there. You've got an agenda. We've only just signed him from Chelsea. He scored the winning goal in the Champions League final. If you can't see what Havertz does, you don't know football. Anyway, apologies, Havertz. Maybe I did mean it subconsciously. I'm sorry. We've got a lot of work to do before Havertz is highly rated by me at Arsenal. On team news for Sunday, he said Bukayo was feeling much better today. I don't expect any other concerns. That's interesting. Saka was on the bench against Monaco, didn't even come on, so maybe there was a slight knock. Havertz is no Zaha, said Eros. It'll never be Wolf. That voice. Why do I always put that voice on? You've got an agenda. You know, that just, when they're going mad on Twitter, that's just the voice I imagine them like shouting at in that voice, you know. On whether our new signings will allow us to earn more points, you would hope so. But he said, I don't have a clue. What happened last season and this season is not something that you can compare. There are other teams who have strengthened. They will be much better. I wish it were that simple, but unfortunately, it is not. Roche said change the name to the English Super Cup. I would actually do that. That's the same voice Robbie uses. You've got an agenda as a classic. They love that one on Twitter, man. Twitter's a funny place, although it's called X now, I believe. On how we convinced Declan Rice to sign for us. He said, we just explained our thoughts on him, the project we're building, what his role was going to be in the club and the team. We got into that very much on day one with him and his family, and we are delighted to have him. On links to David Raya, he said, no updates. Hey, listen, whoever asked that question, learn from me. When you ask him about an individual player, he ain't going to give you much feedback. I learnt that out in America. So respect to whoever said that. On links to David Raya, we've still got to ask the questions. I said, X gonna give it to you. He gonna give it to you. X gonna give it to you. Hey, oh, where am I? There. I can't forget all the words, but you know, big tune. X gonna give it. That was a big tune. DMX settings. Elon Musk moving mad. But anyway. On where we're at in our journey, if this is a new era for the club to compete for honours, where are we at in the process, people? He said, this is what we want, to be on every front, fighting for trophies, being as a club on every front. We have to prove that what we did last year was something, but it wasn't enough to win the biggest trophy and the one we were looking for. We have to be better. I'm going to skip it. On Klopp's comments that City are the only team that can challenge for the title. He said, I respect that. They've shown their consistency over the years. They merit that respect from everybody. If you want to challenge for that championship, there's 12 points that you're going to be needing, and that's how it's been in this league for the last 100 years. That's the standard. If you want to be there, you know what you have to do. I mean, Klopp firing shots a little bit there, saying, you know, City are the only club that can win the league, basically, but it is what it is. Is this Rap City? It's a classic, man. Absolute classic, Rap City. Shout out DMX, though, man. Rest in peace to the legend. Kylian Mbappe, hey, listen. It was worth having a go. We had a go, people. It's like shooting from the halfway line. Doesn't often go in, but if it does, it's goal of the season. Legend for asking the Mbappe question. Big C, love it. Gotta go for it, people. Gotta go for it. Is Klopp wrong, says Cincinnati. I think for Manchester City to not win the league this season, number one, they need to drop off slightly. They've lost Gundogan, they've lost Mahrez. I think Gundogan especially is a huge loss. You need to hope that maybe they're full. They've won the treble. That hunger is not there. And then somebody lifts it 10, 15%, which you hope would be Arsenal. I think really you're looking at Arsenal, Liverpool, and maybe Manchester United are probably the three that I think could potentially get closer. I don't think Chelsea have done enough yet. But if they get a good striker, maybe. I don't think Newcastle will be good enough. So, City are favourites. There's no doubt about it. City are definitely favourites. On On what he's learnt about Declan Rice so far, he said that he is a player that is already excellent. We have to make sure we don't make him worse. You're damn right. Not when you spent 105 million. We want to put him on the quality and the abilities that he has and let him express his personality, the way he thinks about the game in the right way. If we can help him with a few things, we will try. We'll try to accommodate his qualities into making the team better. It's a good question. On where Kai Havertz will fit into this side, he said, well, he's playing at the moment in attacking midfield on the left. But he can play on the right or as a winger coming inside or as a 9 or a false 9. We'll see. It depends as well. We're seeing a lot of things in the team give you information every day. There's some connections, relationships, which is natural. We have to have our eyes open and not just close the door to something because something is not the best thing to do. I mean, you've named about 5 positions for him there. What is his best position? We know the brother can play, he can play everywhere, but where have you signed him to play? I think he's going to try and play him attacking midfield. Yeah, it's Tom. So basically, you don't know where he plays. He can play everywhere, but maybe he's not that good anyway. Time will tell. We'll see, people. I think Havertz could end up being a squad player because I just think that Partey, Rice, Odegaard, I think that's the midfield. Arteta saying City is the beat with Eddie up front. Yeah, exactly. All the best. All the best trying to beat City with Eddie up top. I'm sure Pep's quaking in his boots. But you never know. Maybe Eddie will prove us all wrong. Jake said, Curtis, the question of the season for me is how well can Arteta manage this entire squad? He's under pressure as much as anyone. Brilliant question. He's never had to manage in the Champions League. He's now got first-team players on the bench who won't accept it. Havertz will not be happy if he's on the bench. Neither will, Ben White or Timber or maybe Trossard. There's going to be quality players. Tierney being left out. So it's going to be a very difficult season to manage, but that's part of the pressure and the progress, I suppose. Simon said City didn't have one long-term injury last year. Surely they can't have that luck again. If they do, it's a wrap. Yeah, listen, and as I always say, I don't wish serious injury on anybody, and I never will. But, Haaland only missed 2 games last season. I think defenders will target him a lot more this season and make life a lot more difficult for him. De Bruyne's starting to get injuries. He's, I think, 31 now, nearly 32. We need a few of their big hitters to be out at times. Let me quickly get through the waffle. On Rice's arrival, proving that we can challenge City for players. I think the important thing is we have to target and we have the resources that we need to bring a target in as well. We can convince him and tell him things that excite him, that he feels inspired and he wants to be part of it. That's the feeling we're getting with every player that we want to sign, as well with the players we already have. They're the ones that we really have to look after with the feeling and willingness to drive the club to be better. I think the good thing about this season, every player we've signed that you've always heard they want to join. This ain't Vlahovic where you're trying to convince him and he's not really interested. Every player has said, I want to play for Arsenal. You're a big club. You're in the Champions League. You play good football. I want to be there. And that's a good thing, On free signings, bringing a winning mentality into the dressing room, he said, we've recruited them from important teams. They're bringing those experiences. The 3 of them are really young. They've already done a lot in the game and in international football, which is great. Cincinnati said, I'm glad Gundogan is gone. That guy was on fire. I'm so glad he's gone. I want Kyle Walker gone as well. I'd love Bernardo to go. They're both being linked with moves. Even Raya wants only us. Yeah. Our spine is missing a striker, said Anthony. I agree with that. I think we can all see that, adding a striker would really strengthen this team, give Jesus competition. On whether Rice will come straight into the leadership group, he said his leadership skills are unquestionable. When you meet him, you spend the first 5 minutes with him, you get the feeling, impression he's someone who is going to help with the dressing room, the approach we want to take into games, have the initiative, the way of living. Things take time, they have to be natural, but if it has to happen, it will. On whether we went into our last meeting with City fearful, he said, I don't think so, but the game started in a way we didn't want and they were better in every department. I'm not even going to read all of it. I saw someone was telling me today City have won their last 14 games against Arsenal in the Premier League. I don't know how true that is, but if it is, it's shocking. And if we have extra motivation, given that City, the only big 6 team we've failed to beat, he said yes. on our supporters' efforts this summer. He said, I want to say thank you. They've been absolutely incredible. We went to the US. We've been there a few times. This season especially was incredible with the amount of support and love they were showing towards the club. We have to be grateful, maintain the level, improve, and try to give everything back to them because it's worth it to sit there where we are and see how people feel about the club. Apart from the fans, of course, who had a fight in New York. You know, I'm not sure they were so happy. But, yeah, there it is. That was quite a lot of waffle for a Community Shield. Last couple of stories before we do round up, people. UEFA Champions League incoming. I hope you're right, bro. Khalid said, Curtis, why is Arteta copying our style? Man City are the benchmark, aren't they, you know? Family podcast, I'm so glad Firmino has gone. He always used to score against us. Yeah, he was a terror for our defence. We could not cope. AHD said, what's up, Kurt? It's been a while. I've been in your channel. I hope you enjoyed America. Can't wait for the season. Big up the C unit. Big up the community. Good to be back. Good to be live streaming again. Obviously, after a lot of short content while, you know, we was touring. Hijack Gonzalo Ramos deal, great striker. They got him for 80 million euros, which is about 70 million quid. Good business for PSG. It's a great question at the presser would have been, how about not charging for pre-season games online? I mean, that was a great question. I think he would wriggle his way out of that and say, you know, that's not a decision that he makes. But it is a very good question and something I definitely don't agree with. When other clubs are showing pre-season friendlies for free and Arsenal are consistently charging, I don't agree with that. And Nassimar said, Big C, what do you think about getting João Felix? Could do a job. Yeah, I would take João Felix on loan. I really would. Let's move on. Let's finish off a couple of stories before we round up. Mohamed Kudus. I think this is going to be a name that we're consistently talking about for the next few days. Again, reports today saying that Arsenal are preparing a £40 million bid for Mohamed Kudus. There was reports the other day, as I said, it was a poor source, but there are some people online saying he does have inside information that he's agreed personal terms and he wants to join Arsenal ahead of Chelsea. But Arsenal apparently preparing a £40 million bid. Arsenal do have a good relationship with Ajax. We've obviously just signed Jurriën Timber from Ajax. So there is a relationship there. According to people within Ajax, they are willing to sell him if they can get £40 million for him. As I said, predominantly a right winger, can play attacking midfield, can even play up front as a false nine. 17 goals last season for Ajax, and he got 4 goals in 6 Champions League games, 23 years of age, Ghanaian international. I think he would be a very good signing for Arsenal, would give genuine competition to Saka, can play in the 10 role if Odegaard's not playing, or Havertz or whoever. He gives us different competition, and for £40 million, it's a no-brainer. If Arsenal were to get Raya, Kudus, I would love to add a striker, but my worry is, listen, if you pay 28 million for Raya and you pay 40 million for Kudus, you're talking about nearly 300 million pounds spent. I can't see them then going and spending another 50, 60 million on a striker. That's the problem. Marcel said he terrorised Liverpool at Anfield. He's a baller. I think he scored. He ruined Liverpool at Anfield. Clement said Kudus is the name of his grandmother's city. João Felix is a flop at Atleti. They did well without him. I think it's a playing style, though. Doesn't suit him. At Chelsea, which attacking player in recent years has done well there? You know, Aubameyang, Lukaku, Werner, Havertz, even Sterling. They've all struggled in that Chelsea system. Probably Eden Hazard and probably Diego Costa are the last attacking players that thrived at Chelsea. Maybe Willian as well. Are we the only fans that fear their own striker? Fear in what way? Fearful that he's not going to do the business or that he's going to get injured? I don't know. Kaifer Jesus will be amazing. I'm not sure about that, but let's see. A lot of people saying João Felix, actually. The way we bottled last season is unforgivable. Premier League or Arteta are out. Wow. 17 last games v City we lost, including 14 in the Prem. That's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. You cannot have a record like that against anyone. Ghosted said, yeah, it's mad, innit? The Mbappe one goes down as legendary. Still, it's in the history books. It's there. It caused the biggest stir of any other question in that press conference. Trust me, online that night it was ringing bells. I'm here, information and entertainment, people. I told you. No, you don't want Felix the cat. Somebody just asked there, I've missed the question, but they were saying, you're saying you want a striker. Who would you go for? And it is a good question because I'm going to be honest, the striker market is very, very weak at the moment. So the options really, if you're going to spend huge money, obviously you go for Osimhen, right? That's a no-brainer. You go for Osimhen if you're going to spend big, big money. He's going to cost you 120, 130 million plus, right? If you can wait till January, you get Ivan Toney. I would still buy him now. There are a number of other options. I think you could get... I would still take João Felix on loan. I'm going to be honest. I still think he's a talented footballer that would thrive in our system a lot more than the Chelsea system. You can obviously go for Moani, who's not completely proven. It's just the numbers they're asking for him. He's probably hasn't done enough to justify that. Vlahovic looks as if he's available. I haven't seen enough of him at Juventus to say really what level he's at now, though. And obviously the other option is to just keep Balogun and give him a chance. For me, out of those options, I would say promote Balogun or sign João Felix on loan. They would be the two for me because you get Felix on loan, you don't have to commit huge money to a player. And he is a quality player. The other one for me would be wait till January and get Ivan Toney. Those three options for me are the best three options. Give Balogun a chance or sign João Felix on loan or get Ivan Toney in January and try and get to January with Jesus, Trossard and Havertz and Eddie. As difficult as it is for me to say that. Vegas Gunner said Skamaka would be a better backup than Eddie in Arteta's system. They're on similar salaries. Why not try for a swap? I don't really rate Skamaka. He's looked pretty bad at West Ham. I actually think Mikel Antonio looks a better striker when he plays for West Ham than Skamaka. I think as well he said that he wants to go back to Italy. I think Roma and Inter are trying to get him. But big up to you, bro. Cliffo said the issue with Balogun is what if he's given a chance, then his poor, his value will halve. And you're right. You're right. Balogun right now, his value is high because he's had a good season. The club know they'll probably get close to 40 million for him. You put him in the Arsenal team for 10 games and he doesn't do well, all of a sudden 15, 20 million. Arsenal have spent over 200 million. He's a kid that's come through the youth system that was on loan at Middlesbrough. Just over a year ago. So I think Arsenal are saying just cash in, get 40 million for him, put a sell-on clause in the deal as well. And that's why I think Balogun's going to go. And they also can't promise him first-team football, which he wants, which is a shame. It is a shame. Kane next summer for free. I'll be honest, if Kane's out of contract next summer, we should be offering him a contract. And I'm not even joking. He's that good. I know he plays for Tottenham. I know we can't stand them. But Kane next summer, out of contract, on a free, Arsenal should be offering him a huge contract. Because if we're one of the best teams in the country, you've got to think Man City have got Haaland. They don't need Kane, right? Chelsea, would he go to Chelsea? It depends what situation they're in. Are they back in the Champions League? I don't think Liverpool would go for him. They've got Nunes, Gakpo, Jota. United would probably go for him. Depends where we are in the league. I would be making him an offer. But I know Bayern Munich have offered 100 million euros today. But I still don't think Tottenham will accept that. I think they want 100 million pounds, which is about 120 million euros. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's at Tottenham next year and goes on a free next summer. But yeah, the striker market is definitely very weak. Let's get into a few of your comments before we round up. I would get Kane now. No way Daniel Levy would sell him to us. Not a chance. Our buyback clauses complicated to do. Why don't we ever put them into contracts? The player has to agree to it, but they're not that complicated. But the other club has to agree to it as well. They have to be open to the possibility that he may leave and go back to the club. Young Gunner said, Big C, glad to see you enjoy the US tour. Your daily content is quality. Why are we not after Ivan Toney? Get João Felix on loan, then add Toney in January. Would you sell Ramsdale? Totally agree with your striker situation. That would be me. I'll go and get João Felix on loan right now. I think he's a quality player, can link up play. I think he would cook for Arsenal. I don't think he would necessarily score loads of goals, but I think he's a stylistic type of player. I think he would fit us, link up well with Martinelli and Saka. You then go and get Tony in January, throw them at Eddie or throw them at Balogun and Cash. Would you sell Ramsdale? I don't think we need to. I think if Raya comes in, you keep them both. I think eventually one of them would end up leaving anyway because they wouldn't be happy. Big up DJ Ash B, who said, big up Big C, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to you, bro. Very active member of the community. So shout out you on your birthday, bro. We have a good one. The USA vlog is being edited right now. I sent out all the content last night, being edited. I hope it's out tonight. If not, it should be out tomorrow morning. Tonight or tomorrow morning. Really, I should have got this out a few days earlier, but it should be out tonight or tomorrow morning. But big up DJ Ash on his birthday. Big up Goat and Ellie, who said, quality stream, Curtis, I'm out. Listen, looking forward to the Community Shield on Sunday against Manchester City at Wembley. I will be doing a watch-along. Watch-alongs are back, you know, no more. I've been to my games over the summer. Let's get back down to business. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff. We'll be live about 3 p.m., 3:15. Big game, a game that I want to win. You've always got to try and get ahead of Pep. Give him something to think about, you know, and beating him in a Community Shield. It's not the end of the world because they lost to Liverpool in a Community Shield last year. But you've always got to try and make Pep question his team. Anthony said, off topic, Big C, how was the fan base in America? Listen, they were absolutely fantastic, honestly. They're very different to the fan base in England. I feel like they're... how can I put it? I think maybe in England, I can only speak for myself. I don't want to comment for everyone. I think maybe we moan a little bit more in England. In America, they seem a lot more supportive. Maybe we're a little bit privileged of the fact that we can go to the game in London and it's on our doorstep, where when Arsenal go to America, it's like, okay, they don't see them often there, so they're much more appreciative of them being there. But yeah, they're fantastic, man. Got so much fan love over there. Really appreciated that. But looking forward to the game. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, but I think you've got to play Trossard up front instead of Eddie. But I think he will play Eddie up front because he loves him. He actually wore the captain's armband against Monaco, which I think is outrageous. But 1,400 grand a week, 5-year deal. But Trossard deserves to start. He played outstanding in pre-season. And also, look how well he played against Barcelona. Ghost had said it's the weather. Yeah, maybe it's the rain that annoys us, But listen, people, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate your support. Over 2,000 of you in the chat. Like the video on the way out. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to have a short pre-recorded preview looking ahead to the Man City game. If anything big happens, I'll go live. I'll be live 3 p.m. on Sunday. Community Shield, Arsenal against City from Wembley. Big game. Looking forward to it. Enjoy your Friday, people. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.